Russian, and I support Russia. I thought my government was so good. I thought that America was so good and just and kind and this, and I found out all of these things were not true. I was pretty poor, doing like little fights for $1,000 maybe. So I went to jail again. He's a communist. He's an anarchist. He's like, I hope he dies. I hope his family dies in a fire. On the street, I smashed them in 1 second.
What's changed in your life?
You know, I like, oh man, I want to be champion. You feel like, oh, I did something nice, but you didn't. And for the first time in my life, my eyes were open.
Hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, Priya.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for visiting us and this opportunity to talk about a lot of interesting things about you, career, and your purposes, what you're doing. So the first question I would like to ask you is about childhood. So can you tell a little bit about your childhood, your parents, and what formed you in early life?
Well, like most children, I was informed like that how I was in childhood like formed how I am as an adult. My dad died when I was 2 in an accident at work, and so my mom raised me with my grandparents for a while. Then she remarried, but the man she married never was my father, never tried to be my father. But I have a brother, a half brother through him, and he's a police officer now. But we're not close. But when we do communicate, we both like it a lot. We just for some reason we don't communicate a lot. But I grew up, my mom's new husband was in the army, so we traveled to Germany. We lived in Germany. We lived in different states in America, different places, every couple of years, different. So I didn't have very many friends because I kept moving to a new place. And honestly, because I had no father, my mom babied me. She like, oh, Jeff. And so I became like spoiled, and I wasn't really a very good kid, and I expected, I expected things. I didn't work hard in school. I didn't get along with people, and I was like kind of selfish. So I wasn't a very good like young child, honestly, and I had problems at school, got in fights, and I made things difficult really for my mom.
Mm-hmm. And how did you start to form yourself? So what was that period when you start doing sports, or maybe not sports? So what's changed in your life?
When I was in 4th class, we moved to a different school, and I went to religious school. They were very strict, which I needed. I didn't like it, but I needed it. And then I started doing sports, and the coaches really helped me a lot. The coaches were at first really soft with me, nice like my mother, but then when I acted out, some of the coaches became very harsh with me and very strict. And I needed this, and it eventually it transformed me. In like 2 years, after like 4th and 5th class, I became more responsible. I really liked sports a lot. I started getting friends, and this period was like a real important period in my life. I changed from being a spoiled little kid to being more responsible, being like more friendly, and caring about people more, and doing sport.
Mm-hmm. And who was the main person in your life who influenced you?
Oh well, that's hard. I mean, I would have to say my mother probably was my main influence, because she like loved so much. She was a nurse, and she cared about other people. She was a hard worker. She worked hard. She worked all day, came home, cooked, cleaned, and took care of the house, took care of us. Like did things with us kids, me and my brother. So I would say my mother was like a big influence. She showed me how to care about people. She showed me how the importance of caring about people, and also the importance of hard work.
And how did you decide to build your life further? How did you come to professional sport?
So this is a long journey. I went to university. So in high school I started wrestling. I did baseball and wrestling and football. But I really started liking wrestling because it was individual. I didn't have to count on any of my teammates. If I worked hard, I could win. If I didn't work hard, I would lose. So, and my last year in high school, I became pretty good. And to the point where, I like, oh man, I want to be champion. And when I went to college, that was my dream for 5 years in university. I want to be champion. I want to be champion. I want to be champion. But every year I lost. In my final year, I had a chance. I made it to the championships, and my very last match to be an All-American, one of the top in the United States. I lost my match, and for me, this was heartbreaking because I was 22 years old, and I just thought all those years I trained since I was started 5th class, 4th class. I started training for this one moment. And it's gone. It's like by this moment's gone, and so I couldn't cope with it, and so I went to university again to get my master's degree, but there's no sport. But I started wrestling and doing judo, and my dream when every year I went to the U.S. Championship for Open to be on the Olympic team or World Championship team, and I wanted to at least be in the top 6 be on the team, the USA team. That was my dream. Even if not the number 1 guy, at least on the team. And I went 6 years, like boom, 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 and 3 years I made it to the final match, for 3 years, and I lost the final match to beat this goal of mine to be on the Olympic or the team, at least the U.S. team. And I was like, man, I thought, man, I'm good, but like I'm wrestling in a city where there's not good wrestling. I'm wrestling with young guys or old guys, but not serious competitors to practice. And I have a family, I have 2 kids, I have a wife, I have a job as a psychologist, and I'm doing this in my part-time. The people I'm wrestling against at the championship live at Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center. Like all they do is they wake up, they train, they eat like nutritious meals, they have training coaches, then they train again at night. Like that's their whole life, train to be on the Olympic team or World Championship team. And I was competing against these guys with a job, with a family, with other responsibilities, and not like good coaching. And I still was really close. 3 times. So I was like, I can do it, but I'd have to give up my life. How can I give up? I can't I can't drag my kids and wife through this hell, you know what I mean, and move them and be poor and not have money. And so I just didn't know what to do. And then just like by God's grace in my area, jiu-jitsu started. They started doing jiu-jitsu and MMA, and we had like champion like Randy Couture, champion of UFC. We had Chael Sonnen, we had Matt Lindland, we had Josh Barnett, champion of UFC. We had just like right in this area, like we had Dan Henderson, champion of Pride, like all right within like 1 hour and a half of me. So I started training with them, and I found I could train with them really well because of my wrestling background. And I thought, okay, well, I don't have a chance to be champion of wrestling because there's no competitors here to train me, but there's good competitors for this jiu-jitsu and MMA. So I started doing MMA, doing amateur. I won all my amateur fights, my amateur grappling matches, and then my coach said, hey, man, I'm going to take a team to the World Championship of Jiu-Jitsu in Abu Dhabi. And I'd never even been out of the country before. And I was like, wow, I can't even be champion of USA. I'm going to be champion, do the world championship. These guys are all from Brazil, like champion, 5-time world champion, Brazilian champion, like it's crazy credentials. But I go, let's do it. And I went, and all this preparation, man, my coach, Matt Hume, prepared me well, and like I won the world championship.
As I understand, the main idea to be champion, because as you say, it wasn't important that it's wrestling. So why did you choose wrestling or not any other kind?
Because
of
it had to be an individual sport. It had to be something that I was competing against another Protivnik, another competitor without a team. Because for that's like I'm champ. Well, our whole team's champion. I want to be champion. So, jiu-jitsu was a difficult sport. It's like wrestling, except for it has submissions as well. So, for me, it was like wrestling, but with an added component. So it was even more difficult than wrestling. But I just my years and years of training, it just like had prepared me for this moment, and like my coach prepared me. Like I'll give a funny story. So I had 4 matches to be champion, and so I won my first match, and my second match was against champion of Brazil, and I beat him. And my third match was against 2-time world champion Higa Machado, and I beat him. And my last match was against Saulo Rivera, who 5-time world champion. Everyone said he's going to win this. He's going to win before the tournament started. Oh, he's for sure winning this tournament, 100%. And I beat him in the final in a 40-minute match. And I beat him. And I remember when it finished, I walked outside, and this is Abu Dhabi. It's just desert. And I look up in the sky, just like, it's beautiful. I just won the world championship. I don't have a shirt on. I'm still sweaty, and I'm outside looking at the sky. And I say, God, how did this happen? Like I'm champion. This is my dream. My dream just happened right now. I couldn't comprehend it. And but I had wrestled a really good tournament. I just wrestled perfectly. And the next day, it's funny because the sheikh who put on the tournament, one of the princes of Dubai or Abu Dhabi, he had a beautiful boat. We went out on the boat, and then we came back and went to this beautiful palace, and we ate dinner, we laughed, joked. All the competitors were there from all the 5 different weights, the lightweight thing, and I was the second heaviest weight, the light heavyweight. And so he goes, man, let's roll. So we have a beautiful room. I mean, the toilet had like gold plated like metal on the toilet. I remember the gold-plated sink, and I was like, "Oh my God, this guy is crazy, oil money." And so we started training. Just all the guys like, "Hey, do you want to train? Okay, let's train. Oh, do you want to train? Let's train." And so I was training with all these guys for like 1 hour and a half. Like most of them lighter weight than me because I was heavier, and everybody killed me. Everybody smashed me, like submitted me. Oh, stop! Oh, stop! And these guys were watching this. Are like, man, this guy just won the world championship yesterday, and now these guys who are lighter than them, who didn't even place, who lost their first match, maybe, like are beating this guy, the world champion. Like, what happened? And so I'm training, and after like 1 hour, where I finished, and one of the guys said, Jeff, I don't mean it to be disrespectful, but I have to ask you a question. How are you getting beat so badly? Like you won the world champion, and you look good yesterday. It wasn't a fluke. You beat the best. You beat the 5-time world champion. You beat. How are you getting smashed? And I said, look, I don't know jiu-jitsu very well, man. I had wrestling. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 3 months, but my coach gave me a plan. Like, you want to be in this position, this position, this position. No other positions. If you get in this different position, you change immediately. Do not play their game. And so today, we're rolling, we're practicing. I'm trying new stuff. I'm not trying to win. I'm trying hard. I'm trying 100%, but I don't have a goal to win. I have a goal to do my best. I want to do my best. I play on my back. Sometimes I'm on top. Sometimes in this position. Sometimes this position. But yesterday, I only in like 2 or 3 positions. And on these positions, I'm the best.
So you can say that to have a plan is much more important than to have a skills.
Well, you have a plan and like certain skills, like limited skills, but not a whole vast variety of skills. Because all these guys, every one of these guys was better at jiu-jitsu than me, knew more than me, knew more positions with me. If we just rolled like playing, like having fun, every one of them going to beat me. But if we have if the sheikh said, okay, now we're going to have everybody wrestle, compete, and I'm going to have one winner. I want to see who's going to win everybody. I think I'm going to win again. Even though they just smashed me, I'm going to change my mentality. Okay, now I'm only going to do these positions. Now I'm going to be very strong. Now I'm not going to try to do dangerous stuff, and I'm going to win again because I'm going to do what I know. So this was the start of my career, really, because then I just became world champion, and then all of a sudden big events like UFC and different like the bigger MMA shows. Hey, Abu Dhabi champion, he must know how to fight, and he had amateur fights, he won all those amateur fights. So I started getting calls to do fighting, and I was still working as a psychologist. So I was working as a psychologist and doing MMA and doing grappling at the same time. But I had such good coaching and such good training partners that it worked for me.
But why did you come to psychology? Because if you're a world champion, why do you need this? To be a champion in psychology, maybe?
No, I mean, I liked helping people. I really liked my job. And we needed the money. My family needed it because I got money for winning this world championship. But, for example, this shows how everything's changed. Back in this time, my wife, I was pretty poor. I was pretty poor. I was working as a psychologist, not a lot of money in psychology. Not a lot of money. My wife worked, but we had 2 children, so she worked as in a school for children, so the children could be at her school. We didn't make a lot of money, and so we didn't have a lot of money, and so I would go to events, grappling events, and doing like little fights for $1,000 maybe at a fight, little fights. But these shows, I would win, like, if you win, you get like $500 or $1,000 if you win. If you don't win, you get nothing. Winner takes all. So I would go to these events, and I had to win because I had to buy plane ticket. I had to pay for hotel. Usually I didn't pay for it. Usually I stayed with friends. Like, I had friends who went, and they, like, so normally I didn't pay for hotel, but I had to buy my ticket there, pay for food, all this stuff. So it was an expense. So if I didn't win and I came home, I lost money for our family. And it was a big tragedy. It was a really tragedy. I remember I was in Las Vegas one time, and I lost. I didn't win this tournament. And I came, and I was just walking. I was just devastated because it's like I was counting on winning, and we needed this money. My family needed this money. And I was just walking. I was just in tears. It's just like going, I'm coming home, and I don't have money for my kids, like, to, you know what I mean? Just not enough to pay rent, not enough to buy food, not enough to cover expenses. And I was just like, it was like a big pressure. So I had to win. Now, these days, these guys grappling for $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 grappling events, like winning. And even if you don't win, if you place in the top, 2, 3, you get money. Sometimes if you have a big name, they give you money just to come. So now if I was younger, if I was doing these tournaments, it'd be much better. I could go and get $20,000 or $10,000, or they give me money just to show up. And if I win, big money, but not like win $500, win maybe $1,000, and then I have to pay all my expenses. If I go now, if I was younger and went now, they pay my expenses, they pay me money just to show up. I can make a living. Back then, I couldn't make a living. That's why I stayed in psychology, because...
Why didn't you decide to be a champion in, maybe not in psychology, but in the earning money?
I didn't care about money. Like,
didn't care about
in fact, I was an anarchist. So I went to jail for protesting the war in USA. I went for 3 months in the jail. I went to jail another time for going into a recruiting station where they recruit people to go to the war. And they went to my children's school, and I was very angry. My kids were in school, my 18-year-old and 15-year-old. And they're saying, "Oh, come to the army, come to the army." Well, we were in the middle of a war in Afghanistan and then Iraq, and I was like, "You're asking my kids to go to go die for oil, not to protect the country, not for America's best interests, not to protect the people, but for oil." And I angry. So I did some terror. I went into one of the offices at night, and I destroyed this office. The computers, they destroyed. So I went to jail again. So I was political. So I just making money wasn't my objective. Like being champion was my objective. Being a good family person, helping people. That's what I like to do.
And did jails teach you something?
It taught me I didn't want to go back. So one of the jail, it was funny because I was in, we had like 23 people in this jail, in one room.
Wow.
But it was a big room, like a basketball court almost. And all that was in there was beds, like bunk beds, and like 4 or 5 big tables with chairs connected to it, metal chairs, and 3 showers with no curtain, no block. Everybody could see you shower, and like 2 or 3 toilets. Everyone could see you pee or poop or what, and like 2 or 3 sinks. Everyone could see every, and the guards were up in the window and looking down at you. So every movement you make, they're watching you, and like your cellmates are watching you. You can't poop, you can't pee, you can't do nothing by yourself without being seen. So I didn't like this, but these guys, I became like a hero to them because I was on TV, they watched me fight, and all of a sudden, like I'm in jail with them. They're like, yes. And because I'm in jail also for protesting the government, which they obviously didn't like either because they were in jail and they didn't like the government. But I had it, when I was in jail for 3 months, I had a fight coming up. I had 3 fights coming up, in fact. So I trained with the guys there. I just said, look, man, I just showed them how to stand, and I did takedowns. I did different positions. I trained every day in jail. And I used these guys like to help me out. And they were like excited about this. They're like, oh, we're helping them and this. So, but one of the things I really didn't like is, I was like, maybe 35 years old or something like this. No, 33 years old, 32 years old. And so these guards, they're like 22, 23, 24, 25, not educated. And they went to school for 6 months. They got a badge, a gun, and now they're and these, I remember, like I'm a psychologist. I'm a fighter. I'm a world champion jiu-jitsu, and I'm asking these 22, 23-year-old kids, like, "Пожалуйста, can I have another pillow? I got a pillow, like, please." "Oh, maybe. I think about it." Like this. I'm like, and I felt like this feeling I hated. Like I had to beg, I had to be like a little child to these kids that were not educated, not sportsmen, nothing. On the street, I'd smash them in 1 second. Like I wouldn't even talk to them. But here, like they're my father. You know what I mean? Like, like this. I absolutely remember this so much. Like how the anger inside, how it made me like feel like these people have this power over me, but how they have this power over me. You know what I mean? Like why the government give them this power over me, that I'm older than them, stronger than them, smarter than them, better educated than them, but they have this power over me. And I still, like, it makes me angry thinking about this.
And when did you start to form your political views on this life? And was this the part of it?
So I remember the day it happened. I was in university, and I never liked injustice. I always like injustice, like a kid being punished when it was the other kid that did the problem. I never liked injustice. And so I remember I was in university one day, in a psychology class, and we had a guest professor from India, and so he totally changed what we were talking about. We were talking about money for like therapy, going to like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm having problems, I'm going to pay a psychologist to talk to me. And he talked about the money that was going to war, that the money that instead of being spent on people that needed it, like psychologists helping a lot of people, like all who are on the streets, for example, who have mental problems, who are children who not have parents, for this. Instead of helping these people, all our money he did a big graph, like our money's going to war. Our money's going to like help these businesses not pay taxes. Our money's going to this. And it just shocked me. It was like it opened my eyes, like, whoa. Because I always had been, yes, America, yes, like freedom, democracy, all this. I believed all this stuff that I was being told by the government. And for the first time in my life, I was like, my eyes were open. Like, and it didn't.
How old was you?
I was maybe 20. Oh, no, I was in years 20, 23, 22. Yeah.
And what next?
And then I went to the library at the university, and I was 22. And I started checking out books like about political geopolitics, anarchy, this. And I found that was my first time I heard the word anarchy. Like what is this? Like, I thought it was bad. I thought it was like people who destroy things and hate people and stuff. And I found out it's just the opposite. People who want freedom for everybody, who want everyone equal, want black people, white people, people who are gay, people who are straight, people who are Muslim, people who are Catholic, people who are Christian. They have the same rights, and they shouldn't be treated differently than anybody else because of what they believe, how they look, all this. And I believe this. I believe this already. And so it really resonated with me, like reading about anarchy and stuff. And so I went and got online, and I ordered or I downloaded these like papers, and I went and printed them on my printer at home and made my own books, and I just became like really political. And when I finished school, and I went back and I got a job as a psychologist in my hometown of Seattle. It's a very, very big anarchist community, very big, very left. And so I fit in exactly with these people. Although I was a sportsman, and these people, like, when I was a sportsman normally, but I was a political sportsman, and then I started protesting the war and started like becoming more active in this. And the more I learned, the more I understood how much I didn't know before. And I was like kind of upset a little bit. I was like, man, I've been like blinded my whole life. I've just had like a blindfolds on. I didn't know nothing. You know, I thought my government was so good. I thought America was so good and just and kind and this. And I found out all these things were not true. And it really made me angry and like further made me political.
And what your family and friends told you about this?
My wife just accepted it. She's like, okay, this is my husband. My friends, listen, they're my friends. If they're my real friends, they listen to me. But I made new friends. I made some political friends that believed exactly what I believed and like supported exactly what I supported. So it opened up some doors as far as meeting people. You know, I made enemies this way too. You know, like some people that I remember one time I was driving and I saw these people on the side of the road with their tire off, their tire broke down, and it was Latin American community. They're from Mexico or Honduras, some other. They didn't speak English, and their tire was flat. He had this father with his 2 kids, and so I had no idea how to change the tire, but I did. So I changed their tire and put them on their way. And that night, I remember looking on the social media. At that time, it was MySpace, and I was reading just like the latest news, and it said, "Oh, Jeff Monson." So I go, "Oh, what's this?" So and there's a photo of me changing the tire. Someone like on the road driving by took a photo of me changing the tire, and so they're really like, "Oh, what a nice guy! Oh, that's great. He's helping people." And then after like 3 or 4 good comments, then it was like, "He's a communist. He's an anarchist. He's like, I hope he dies. I hope his family dies in a fire." Blah blah blah. And then it was just like 100 terrible comments. He's this. He's terrible. Da da da. And I'm like, man, and it changed me like with as far as like social media. Like I just quit doing social media. I was like, if you can't help somebody without being criticized, without being like told to die, then you can never please these people. There's nothing you can do to please these people. So I thought, I don't care what they think. And I just thought, I don't care what people think, because like they don't know me, they don't understand me. So if they support me, great. If they don't support me, that's great too. So.
But you do a lot of charity, as I know. Yeah. So charity is a very difficult thing. I also made charity in my life, and you always need to choose. So you have limited resources to help, and you have to choose. So if you help to someone person, it means you don't, you refuse some other. Yeah. So what's your approach to this, and what you do with this? So
I like to help kids. So I help like in Bashkortostan, we have a rehabilitation center. I'm the ambassador for this rehabilitation center. It's for kids with invalid kids with physical problems or like psychological problems, autism, especially a lot of autistic kids. And so I like helping there. I help at the oncology hospital for kids. Then we also, I've opened, free schools, and we're continue to open free children's sports schools all over Russia and now international. So I'm really focused on kids, but also I have a soft spot for our SEAL soldiers. I've been to Donbass like 13, 14 times. I've seen it. I've seen what's happening there. I did a documentary film with my colleague called 8 Years Before. So this is you can find this documentary free on YouTube or TubeRU. And so this explained, we did a 13-month work on this video, made a good interview or a video where we interview the people there, we do the filming, we show the war, we show what's really happening, because our job and why we chose this, because when I was going to Donbass, these people were being bombed, of course, by Ukraine, and they're saying, man, please tell the world what's happening here. Nobody even knows who we are. The world doesn't know. The United States doesn't know who we are. Europe doesn't know who we are. We're being killed by our brothers and sisters in Ukraine, by their army. And we've been suffering for a long time. And please let the world know what's really happening. Because basically the United States said, oh, it's Russia doing this. But it's not Russia doing this. It's Ukraine killing its own people. These people wanted freedom. They used democracy. They used voting, which was allowed under the Ukrainian constitution. And their reward for using democracy, that the United States says democracy, yeah? Well, their reward for using democracy was being attacked. The very next day, they passed these referendums to be independent. They were attacked. Lugansk and Donetsk attacked by Ukraine, which under the support of like NATO and the United States became, a proxy war against Russia. So, but the world still, if I go to the United States right now and I say, what do you think about the people in Donbass? What do you think we should do? They go, what's Donbass? A new movie? What is that? What's Lugansk? What's Donetsk? I don't know what you're talking about. maybe 100 out of 100 wouldn't know. Maybe 1 out of 100 would know. Maybe. They don't know nothing in the United States what's happening because of what the government, what the journalists or the media is telling them. So the people there said, please let the world know what's really happening. And that's why we made this documentary film. So we've opened a rehabilitation center, and now we're opening another rehabilitation center in Ufa for returning soldiers, so they can not only get help them rehabilitate their bodies, their minds, to get back into society, to be reacclimated, like into working again, being a father, being a husband, like having a family, like all these things that they haven't been doing for several years because they've been protecting us. So this is important to me. These people really deserve our respect, and so like that's also a big. So I guess I do where I feel the most emotion for. I feel emotion for children. I feel emotion for our soldiers. So this is the main two problems.
It's very, very hard to connect with emotions with people's problems. But how do you rehabilitate yourself, and where you take energy for do this?
The kids give me energy. You know, when I do a master class, and it seems like it's work. You're like, oh, it's this, showing the position and stuff like this. But man, when I see the kids' faces, when I see them excited, it gives me energy. You know, it gives me I feel like when the kids are learn something new and they do it, or I take the kids to a tournament and I see this position that I've been showing for 2 months, and then I see some child do it in the match and win a match because of this new position, and he's all excited. That gives me energy. It really makes me young, and it's not a lie. It's not just like me saying words. Like I feel younger now that I'm coaching, now that I'm teaching kids, now that I'm doing rehabilitation centers, now I'm doing this stuff. I feel energized that these kids give me energy.
So you combine your sports career and your psychological education and practice in the past. So it's a good pair to work with the kids.
The psychology helps me in my work. Absolutely. It doesn't. People ask me, your psychology training help you in your fights? No, it's a different kind of psychology because it's a therapy psychology. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's not going to help me win. It's not sports psychology. I'm trying to help people, but it definitely helps. Like when I run a school, doing a master class, trying to teach kids, and it does. It's very important.
How do you grow up your own kids? And can you make some advices to parents being psychologists to grow up and not to do mistakes? The kids need, there's two main things here. When I say this as a psychologist and a parent, kids need two main things. They need love, number one, and they need discipline. If you give your kids love and discipline, you can make 1 million mistakes, and the child will forgive you. And these mistakes in the long run, down the road, aren't going to matter. If you give your kid love, they understand that they are loved no matter what, whether they're good, they're bad, they're successful, they're smart, they're not smart, they're athletic, they're not athletic. If they feel like my mom and my dad love me, that's the biggest thing. And then you have to have discipline, because you have to. Discipline shows love. For example, if your child is bad at school and comes home and has to do homework, and you're like, I don't want to do homework. It's fighting with you. I just want to watch TV. I want to go outside with my friends. You're not fair. No, let me go outside. It's easier just to say, okay, I'm a good parent. Okay, go outside, play with your friends. You don't have to do your homework. But you just did the child the injustice. You just hurt your child, because your child just learned that mom or dad doesn't care enough to fight to make sure that I do the right thing. I know doing my homework is the right thing, but I don't want to do it. But I know I should do it. And if my parent it's easier to just say, oh, okay, go outside and play. You don't have to do it. They don't trust you. They don't trust you. They don't trust their parent, because they're like,
I know my parents are not doing the right thing for me. I'm glad because I want to go outside and play, but I know it's the wrong thing. And down the road, they're not going to trust you. But if you're like, you know what, I want you to go outside and play, but I want you to do your homework because it's important to me. I love you. I want you to go to school. I want you to be successful. It's important for me. So you got to do your homework. I'll tell you what, I'll let you go outside, but you have to do your homework first. And then you can go outside. So I'll compromise with you. And then, but it's your choice. You have to do your homework. So you can do your homework. And if you do your homework now, you'll have time to go outside. If you fight with me, if you protest, if you make a fit and throw a tantrum, you're going to lose time. You're still going to do your homework, but it's going to be later when you finish, and you're not going to have time to go outside. So I'm going to give you the choice. You choose. I'm telling you, you got to do your homework. So you can do your homework now and go outside, or you can wait, throw fits, protest, blah, blah, and then you'll have to do your homework later, and then you're not going to have time to go outside. And that works perfectly because the child, not only do you show the child discipline, you're giving them the choice. You're putting them in charge, really. You're teaching them how to, it doesn't do good to like, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this. They do because they have to. They do because they have to. They do because they have to. But you're giving them the choice. Like, they feel good about it. They feel empowered when they have the choice, like, you know what? I did my homework because I chose to do it, and now because I wanted to go outside, and now I get to go outside. But it was my choice. Or if they don't, they waited, and they threw a fit, and now they're doing their homework late, and they don't have time to go outside. They're doing their homework, they're going, it was my choice. I chose this. My parents, they're making me do my homework, but I had the choice to do it and go outside, but I chose not to. And now I understand this. You know what I mean? I understand that it was my choice. They gave me the choice. It empowers the child. It empowers the child to make decisions by themselves.
It's very interesting and important. So, choice, discipline, and love is like three bases of to be successful kid when they grown up.
If you give these kids these things, they like all be okay. You can make mistakes. I've made a million mistakes. I didn't dress my kid warm enough. He got sick. A huge mistake I do all the time. I kept my kid up too late. I wasted time, like doing stuff. I did, we'll do this. I just want to do this with you first. And all of a sudden it's too late. They go to bed late, and then they don't want to wake up in the morning because it's like they got to wake up for school. And I'm waking up my daughter for school, a 7-year-old, and she's like, "Pop, I want to sleep. I want to sleep." I'm like, "No, you got to get up for school." But I know it was my fault. My daughter is tired because it was my fault because I kept her up late, and I know this. So I'm not perfect. I do mistakes, and now I have to make her get up for school, and it's like it's terrible because I know I'm to blame. Really, I'm telling her she's got to get up, but I'm to blame for this. So I make mistakes, but if they understand that you love them and you love them so much, you're gonna if you say something, you're gonna follow through. Look, you can't have a cookie till after dinner. Like that's the rule. And then you're like, "Oh, I'm so hungry. Please, just one cookie. If you give in, you said something. If you give in, you're like, okay, one cookie. You feel like, oh, I did something nice, but you didn't. They're not going to trust you no more because you said something. I mean, you lied. They think it's a lie because you said something and you changed. They protested or they whined or they asked again, and then you're like, okay, you can have it. So next time when you say something, they're going to fight you more because they know maybe I have to fight more and more and more, but Papa will change his mind if I do enough, and they're not going to trust you. But if you said, so that's another thing I learned is don't say things like immediately. Don't say no until you think about why you're saying no. Oh, Papa, I want to watch TV. No. And you're thinking, why no? Like maybe I can say 10 minutes, but then I make a deal with you. I'll let you watch because you just got home from school. I'll give you 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then you got to do your homework. So I'll make a deal with you. But if you just say no right away, you can't change it again. Then you can't go back and say, okay, yeah, I'll let you know. But if you say, wait, let me think for a second. Well, what's the harm if I then watch TV and then they do homework? It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, you can watch TV for this long, but then you got to do your homework. The deal? Then they feel empowered as well. Like they're making a deal with you. And if they, after the 20 minutes of TV or 10 minutes, whatever, okay, now it's time, I'll let you do. Now it's time to, no, I don't want it. You made a deal with me. Like I kept my word. You got to keep your word. You're empowering them. You're giving them, yeah, you did. Like you kept your word. So now they trust you. Now I want to trust you too. I want to trust what you say. So you like, you're giving them praise. You're giving them, you're a good kid. I trust you enough to make these choices. And so now you're going to do it instead of, no, I told you that it's time to, Bob, we made a deal. No, you're calm. You say, I did my part. Now it's time for you to do your part. Like I trust you that you're going to make the right decision because I didn't lie to you. So now I don't want you to lie to me. I want you to do what you said. Okay. And they'll think, yeah.
Don't you think that in your sports school for children, you should read some lections for parents also? Because you're a professional psychologist, you're a parent, you definitely have what to say and to make some courses for young parents.
It would be a good idea. We have some courses for parents with kids who have who have behavioral problems and who also have like autism or something like that. We have like a support group where they come and they talk like, oh my gosh, my John, because I got this idea from going to the oncology hospital, like doing volunteer work. I go to the oncology hospital and so I do like a little master class for the kids. And then some kids were too sick to come out of the rooms. So I go into the room, say hello, like, how are you, to talk to them. And the parents lived at the hospital. Like it was I love this about Russia. Like, so for free, the kid, this was in Moscow, this is in Ufa, like several cities that I've been, the parents live at the hospital with the kids while the kids are getting treatment. And so they always have a parent there or both parents there, and for free. And I love this about Russia. But when I go in and I was talking to the parents, like, how is your child? Like, I just saw makes me want to cry, just the emotion on the like parents' face, like their kids. But imagine your life is in the hospital for 2 months, getting surgery, getting treatment, life for death every day, life for death, and your kid, and you're sitting there, and I just remember like one mom, she was just, she had a boy, and he was maybe 6 or 7, and she was just completely emotionally spent. She had no energy inside her. Her soul, like her eyes just looked through you. She just had blank stare. And I just remember like this woman needs as much help as her son. This woman needs, and I thought a lot of these parents who come and like take their kids to these hospitals and they have no support or only each other, they need to come together and speak and like say, my gosh, I can't take this no more emotionally, or I need help, or like, do you have any ideas like when my child does this and this, like, and so we have a council, we go and start doing this sometimes, and this is very helpful, very needful. And so like sometimes when I do master classes for kids at the hospital, I think college and also the rehabilitation center afterwards, I just talk to the parents. The kids go and they have like an activity or something. I just talk to the parents, like how are you guys feeling? Or what's good, what's not good, this and that. And
it's very important.
And just to be able to speak sometimes, just to be able to be heard, like you're speaking and other people are listening to you, because all they've been talking to for 2 months or 3 months is a doctor. How's my kid? What am I going to do? What kind of operation are you going to do? What kind of this? And that's their only conversations is with doctors and nurses for 2 or 3 months. They want to talk to other parents. They want to talk to another person. They want to be heard. They want to be able to speak about all these emotions that they've kept inside for so long, So this is, and this I think is almost important as the child getting therapy. Like these parents, that these parents have to be the support for their child, and if they are emotionally spent, they don't have any more energy to give, then the child suffers too.
Okay, it's very important, definitely. So let's go back to your career. You moved in Russia, and I will not ask any question about how do you feel to be Russian, but I'm interested in your vision. What to do in Russia more, because as I understand, you left United States because you're not supporting this politicians, what they do, and what do you want to do in Russia in this way?
So the reason I left America is because of the SPO, is because of the war in Ukraine. That's the reason I left. Because I lived in Miami, and Mr. Putin gave me a passport for Russia. So I had a Russian passport and an American passport, and this was beautiful. This was beautiful because I lived in Miami, and then every month I flew to Russia, and I worked for RT. I had a job. I worked, I did master classes, maybe I did a fight. I loved being in Russia. I got to see my Russian friends. I got to do everything I wanted to do in Russia. And it was great. And then I got to go back home. Every month. And then because I had a Russian passport, American passport, so it was no problem. But then at the start of the SVO, after a few months in, it was like, I had to ask people were asking me, like, you support Russia or America? And I said, well, I support Russia. And like, well, why do you have an American passport? And so because I have kids in America, I have like a house in America, I have a car in America, I have like my life is in America. I work in Russia, and I had to think like, and then I went down to Donbass several times. I met the soldiers, and I saw the death, I saw the killing, I talked to families. I started doing this. This documentary film about Donbass, and I was like, I just like the emotions from the people being down there, and I was like, man, how can I support this? That was the final straw. Like, how can I support America? I say don't support America. But I have an American passport, and I'm paying taxes in America, and I'm going to America, and I'm like living in America. So I'm supporting America. So how can I say I'm supporting Russia? How can I support these people in Donbass if I'm going to America all the time and I'm living in America? Like, it sounds contradictory. It sounds like I say one thing but do another thing. And so I had to make a tough decision, and the reason why it was a tough decision is because I have 3 older kids in America. Like 2 are adults, but one's only 15, and I had like, I'm not going to see my kids for a long time. Like, I don't, whenever this conflict ends in Ukraine, I don't know, but it's going to be very difficult to see my kids. So I closed my American passport. I went to Turkey. Went to the American embassy, closed my American passport, paid the money, and now I'll never be able to go to America, at least during this war, because they'll not accept, I can't get a visa. I don't have a passport, so there's no way to go to visit my kids unless it's a different country or something like this. So that was a big choice because of that reason. And so now, but now I can look in the mirror and say, I'm Russian, and I support Russia, and I don't have any guilt because I was born in America, but it's not my fault I was born in America, But given the choice, America or Russia, I chose Russia. I chose my home. I chose where my wife is now. I have 2 children here. This is where my work is. This is where my love is. Where my future is, and I chose my country. I'm Russian, and I chose to be in Russia.
So what's the main purpose of your political life in Russia, of your political job?
So I'm a deputy in the Krutai in Bashkortostan, and so it's mainly a lot of businessmen. You know, we have the Krutai. It's mainly businessmen working on different projects, and really, the only thing I do is I open schools for children. I do work at rehabilitation centers for kids and adults, where we have like adults with problems too. I work with hearing impaired children, oncology hospital, rehabilitation, and the SVO centers. We want to open another one for our returning soldiers. So I'm working with SVO, invalid, sports, children, and like people who have some kind of need. Something like there's a housing issue, like this builder didn't build this apartment very good, and like it's leaking, and this family's getting wet and cold. Like I'll intervene these. Like my only job really as a deputy is to help people. That's what I want to do. I want to help people, and so that's what I do. Like that interests me. That makes me want to get up in the morning, because I know I'm going to help somebody, or I'm going to try to help somebody, and this interests me, and then it makes it exciting. I mean, it's different all the time, and I don't have, a lot of people help me in my sports career. A lot of people help me, and my only job for a long time after psychology was just fighting, training, fighting, and a lot of people helped me. And my only thought about was winning, champion, winning, champion. I wasn't thinking about other people. I wasn't thinking about, my family, but I was thinking about only myself, like being champion. That's it. Now it's my time to give back. People gave to me. Now it's my time to give back to other people. So and it makes me happy. It keeps me young. It gives me motivation to get up in the morning. It gives me motivation to be alive.
But it's not necessary to work in Kurultai or to be a deputy to help people. So
it makes it easier. It makes it easier because I have some power, not enough power, but it gives me some power. If I'm a Kurultai member and I go to an apartment manager who's not fixing a roof, and I say, "Look, I'm gonna have the police come and like make you a big fine if you don't like fix this problem," or like as a Krutai deputy, I can become an ambassador at a rehabilitation center, or I have the power to get companies together to, hey, we need help building this rehabilitation center for SVO soldiers, and so we're going to vote on it in the Krutai. So I'll go to the different Krutai members, say we're going to have this big vote and vote for this to help our SVO soldiers. So I put a big project together, and it'll help us. And then if they vote, it becomes law, and then it'll happen. And so I have a lot more power than if I was just like a famous sports person. I'd have some power, but I have more as a Krutai member, but not enough, not nearly enough. And this is why I want to be in the state deputy in the State Duma. We'll have a lot more power. Instead of me saying, "Пожалуйста, help," people will come to me.
But people don't go to state parliament, state Duma to be deputy Duma to open schools for kids. Or
I'm changing that.
Here I want to ask you what you do. What are you going to do there? So definitely it's not about schools for kids.
It's not. It's part of it. It's really. I want to open schools all over Russia. I want to do work.
Yeah, I understand.
I want to help the SVO. I want to bring Russia back to the way it was in the SSSR. And I don't mean like politically. I mean economically and socially, especially socially. What I mean by this is, everybody had a job in this. Everybody had a job. Unless you physically couldn't work, you had a job. Everybody had a house or an apartment. People had some means of transportation, whether at a car or a bus or something. They had a way to get to work. That's not the way it is now. People are on the street. People live in like bus depots. People live in train stations now. People don't have money, or they live with friends. They don't have a place to live. People are homeless. They don't have jobs. This would be one of my big number one goals is to eliminate this. Russia is Russia. This is Russia. Like there shouldn't be. Russia is rich in resources, the richest country in the world for minerals, timber, metals in the world, and there's people homeless in Russia. There's like economic problems in Russia. So this I don't understand. This would be one of my priorities. And of course, you can't do it by yourself. You need people to help you. You need businessmen. You need corporations. You need other deputies to step on board. But this, what I found as a member of the crew tie, because I mean, I don't physically go fix the roof. You know, I don't physically go, yeah, I do teach kids, but I don't like open the SVO center. You know what I mean? I don't build it. I don't do the remodeling. I don't hire the psychologist and the people doing the psychology and the rehabilitation, physical rehabilitation. I don't hire these people. It takes a big team to do this, a big team, a coordinated team. But somebody has to coordinate all these things, coordinate who to hire, coordinate the inspections, coordinate you know what, there's a good guy here. He wants to help out. He wants to donate free furniture. He could donate free furniture for our SVO center. Let's contact him. Like this is what I want to do, but on a bigger scale, like in the State Duma. I want to get people off the streets. I want to make homelessness a memory, you know, not something that's a reality in Russia. I want to open SVO centers, get the people. I want to open rehabilitation centers, not just for SVO soldiers, but just when I was in America, I worked at rehabilitation centers for just people who were injured and needed to work and weren't working, or people who had psychology problems, or people who had alcohol or narcotic problems. And this is a big problem in Russia, like narcotics and especially alcohol, big problem. And people need help. And this is just, it's not being addressed enough. People are like, yeah, people drink vodka in Russia. Yeah, people drink in Russia. That's just the way it is. But when you're not working, when you lose your family, when you lose your job, when you lose your home, or then it's a problem. It's not, oh, it's just Russia. It's just normal. It's not normal. It's not normal. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be taken care of. It needs to be, you know what I mean? Like, and so these are, but there has to be, the attitude has to change. Instead of being acceptable, I want to make homelessness unacceptable. I want people to be like, we do not accept people to be homeless here. We're going to fix this problem. We do not accept that, they're drunk, it's okay. Or they're drunk, it's okay. They're on the street, it's drunk, it's okay. Because that's Russia, that's what people do. Some people are like that. No. Or like, oh, he's on the street because he's drunk. He's a drunk. He drinks all the time. So, like, forget this guy. Like, it's his own problem. No. I'm going to be like, let's help this guy. Let's help this guy quit drinking, get his job back, find another job, get reacquainted with his family, like get support, like this. These are the things that I want to do, like to help people. But I'm not going to help on an individual basis. I'm not going to help this family and this family. I have to put teams together. I have to organize. I have to put plans together, how this can be in different cities. And it's like a huge undertaking, a huge job. And it's a job that's exciting, but also frightening because it's a huge undertaking. But it's better to reach for the stars and then fall a little bit short than to. So
you're going to be a state deputy just to have more influence, but not just working about laws in the parliament.
Like honestly, the law stuff isn't so important to me. Like really, you know, of course we have to
anarchist.
Yeah, but still anarchist. I mean, but I'm a realist too. Mm-hmm. I know if, like, for example, people say, well, like, oh, Jeff, for example, I'm in the government. An anarchist doesn't believe in government. So they're like, how are you in government if you're an anarchist? I'm a realist. I want to help people. If I tried to go burn down the government building, or then I would be in jail. And what good am I going to help people if I'm in jail? Nothing. Okay. So I want to help people, and I understand that I want to work within the government to try to help people the best I can, and in this way, bring apart that's what anarchy is. It's about helping people having freedom. So if I could do this in government, in a little bit, and influence others to do the same thing, then I feel good about myself with my political beliefs. I don't feel like I'm betraying my political beliefs.
But some people criticize you about this because you changed passport, country, now you changed your religion, you're a Muslim now, and they ask questions. What if you tomorrow change something more, and maybe you change your beliefs and political views, and will do something different?
Well,
what you can answer on this?
I've changed religion, I've changed country, but I've been consistent about one thing. In all my changes, in all my directions, all my goals, all my actions have been for one thing: the betterment of society, trying to help people. Absolutely. Nothing changed that way. I didn't go from help people, not help people, help business, help these poor people, help this, not help this, help it. No, it's always been one direction, helping people the best way I can. And I'll explain because I get asked all the time, the religion. So I don't believe in religion at all. I think all religion's man-made, is made by man. Do I believe in God? Yes, absolutely. I believe in God. But do I believe Islam? And maybe like many people listening to this who are Muslim are going to get angry at me. But do I believe, like, you have to bow down, you have to say 33 prayers, not 32, not 31, not 35, 33 exactly. Why? It's ridiculous. You have to wash your hands, wash your feet, do this ritual, do this ritual. Does that help you get closer to God? I don't. Some people can argue yes. For me, I don't think so. And is eating pork is bad for me? I don't think it is. But like smoking, alcohol, this I can see. Yes, it's bad. It's obviously bad for you. It's pork. Back in the day, before they had before pigs could be properly processed and you could get different diseases and they were dirty and all that stuff. Yeah, it was bad to eat. It was that bad to eat pig, and that's why it was outlawed back then. But that was 1,000 years ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's different today. You can eat pig safely. So why not? I believe in God, like Albert Einstein said. People go, do you believe in God? He's one of the smartest people of all. Everybody knows Albert Einstein, and who came up with general relativity. And he said, I don't believe in the God of Moses, of Abraham, of this. Maybe they like God had special job for them. Maybe, I don't know. But what I believe is this. What I understand about the universe is 13.8 billion years old. We can't think, our brains can't comprehend this amount of time. And in the universe, our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, it takes light, which travels 300,000 kilometers a second. 300,000 kilometers a second. It takes light 100,000 years to go from one end of our galaxy to the other end. 100,000 years. It's a distance that we can never imagine. Our minds now, out of these galaxies, out of our galaxy, which is one, takes light 100,000 years across, there are 200 million galaxies, or 200,000 of these galaxies. 200,000 of these galaxies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like 2 trillion. It's of these galaxies that we know about. There probably more that we can see with telescopes that we know are there. So he said, of all this information that we know, that we can, how can we say, oh yeah, God wants this. God wants this. God wants us to not eat meat. God wants us to bow down 33 times. It's ridiculous. But he said, is all this by chance? Is all this, if we had all the information in the universe about every planet, every atom, every galaxy, it would take more volumes of book. That would be an entire city of volumes and volumes of volumes and volumes of books. So this is what Albert Einstein said. And of all these books of information about the universe, we understand from our science, from our observations, we understand one sentence out of one book. One sentence out of one book is all the information as human beings we understand. So is all this information, is all this stuff just by chance? No, it can't be. It can't be. I believe in God, of order, of beauty, of love, and only a God who can create this, like only a creator can come up with something like this, not by chance. So this is what I believe. And why Christianity to Islam? Because when I went to Ingushetia and I met with refugees, and I help refugees, another thing I do in Bashkortostan, I help refugees from Syria, from Palestine. And there were refugees from Palestine. They had been there 3 days. Their homes, they lost their homes. All of them lost members of their family, lost members of their friends. They lost, these kids lost their homes, their toys, their school, members of their family, everything. They had nothing. They come to a different country, don't speak the language. They're just in this strange country. They've lost everything in their whole life. And I'm talking to them, and I'm saying, like, are you angry at Israel? Do you want to punish Israel? Do you want to fight, like, get that? Like, no. We just want Israel to understand we have the same God, and that we want them to understand we're all brothers, and that we want them to love us. Man, I cried. And this was a moment I thought, if you have this much love in you, I want to be part of this religion. Like, I might not believe in, like, all the prayers and all, like, everything that I said, like, you have to do this, this, and this, and this. But you have to go to Mecca and all this stuff. But I do believe this. I believe that what's in your heart is real. So I became Muslim. But it's not, it's a change that, like, affects my life emotionally, not affects my life, like, I still help people. I still do the same things. Maybe I go to a mosque now instead of a Christian church and pray. But that's the only difference.
Okay. And to finalize political topic, can you say 3-5 points? Why should I vote for you to be a deputy of State Duma?
Because I've been to America. I lived in America. I've lived in Germany. I've lived in Russia. And I've been to 40 or 45 different countries around the world. I've seen the world. I understand the world. I'm not just a sportsman. I'm an activist. Like, I've seen different governments. I've seen different people, and I want to help people. And so having the knowledge. If you're born in Russia, you grow up Russian, and you're going to support Russia. You're going to, like, I support Russia. I'm Russian. Da da da. I was born in America. I grew up in America, in Germany. I lived in England for 2 years. I lived in the West all my life, except now. And I could have chosen to live anywhere in the world, especially the West. I'm from there. When I lived in America, I had a car, 2 cars. I had a nice house. I had more money than I do now. I rent an apartment here. I don't have a car. But I chose Russia. Why did I choose Russia? Because I love the people here and I want to help the people here. And I have an understanding of Russia, America, and different countries. And I'm choosing to be here. I wasn't born here, so I only knew Russia, so vote for me because I'm Russian. I'm choosing to be here. No other person can say that. Like a candidate can say, I was born in a different country. I've been all around the world, but I choose to be in Russia. And so I'm choosing to be. Why? Because I want to help people. I'm worse off financially than I was in America. Much worse off. So what benefit do I have of being in Russia? Only because I love Russia and I want to help people here. That's it.
So you are gonna be in the State Duma to help people. This is
That's my job.
Your political program in one sentence.
I want to get the different entities, corporations, deputies, businessmen to work together to make Russia better.
What's the main fight in your life you're gonna win?
I want to make a difference for, especially for our children. I want to make a difference. I want when I'm gone, when I'm dead, I want some people's life. I want a lot of people's life, as much as I can do. My goal is to make, when I'm gone, like many people's lives are better because I was here. If I wasn't here, they wouldn't have been better. You know, the fact that I was here, that I did some things, their lives are better.
Good. So, what you can say to our audience in final words?
I want to say thank you for making me, accepting me and part of the family. So this sums up how I feel about Russia. Like, absolutely. Russia, like my family, my kids, my wife. Then we have my neighbors. Then we have my neighborhood. We live in this like central part of Ufa. Then we have like Bashkortostan, I feel part of. And then we have like all of Russia. And I feel like it's really one family. And we're one family. And this is what when I said I want it to be back like it was in the SSSR, that's what I'm talking about. Because the pensioners I talked to said, we were one family. We all worked together, we lived together, we died together, we like danced together. We were like, our neighborhood, our city, our country was like one big family. And I feel that now. But the pensioners I talked to said, you feel it, but even before it was even more like this. It was more like this. And my goal is to make Russia as close to that as like one big united family like as possible. And that, like, it's a big job, but it's a job that requires everybody's participation, and it benefits everybody, you know. Whether you're a businessman, whether you're a pensioner, whether you're a child at school, we're all Russian. We all want the same things. We all like have maybe different interests, but we all want to be part of something big, something special. And Russia is special.
Oh, thank you. So, and finalizing our talk, we want to make to you a couple presents.
Thank you.
Don't mind. So, the first is a little story about my meeting with you. Okay. So in 2013, when you came to Russia to prepare with the fight with Alexander Yemelyanenko, which didn't happen.
Yeah.
You made a masterclass, and I made a picture of you, which you see on the conference yesterday. Like,
oh yeah.
It's a picture was made on film, and I wanted to send you, and I wasn't sure about correct address in Miami, and I thought later, some later. Then when you moved to Russia, I thought, oh, I will wait a little bit more when you come to Germany. So this is the picture. You can.
Thank you.
And, it's the original one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. And the second one is about children. Children from employees of our company. made some drawings, and the winner of drawings we put on sweatshirt.
Oh my God!
You can take it on. So actually, it's not snowman, but it's bear, Russian
oh my
bear.
God, it's beautiful. Wow,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. I'm gonna put it on. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, that's cool. Especially when it comes from kids, you know.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
This is a special gift. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So you can come to Ufa in this this sweatshirt.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I wanted to say, I think I finished my. So I was saying about being one big family. So I want to say, like, to the people that are listening to this podcast, thank you for accepting me. I'm not from this country. I'm Russian, but thank you for opening your hearts and opening your mind and giving me the opportunity to be Russian. Because without you allowing me to be here, allowing me to like meet your children, teach your children, like shake your hand, be part of Russia, I would never be part of Russia. Like I would just be a visitor. But you made me feel that I moved to Russia because I felt at home here. Like I felt this was my home. And I felt at home, not because it's beautiful. Of course it's beautiful. Of course it's like fantastic scenery to men, for example, like, St. Peter's are, beautiful buildings and this, but it's the people of Russia, why I'm here. The people made me feel this is your home. Like, and I absolutely feel at home here. I've been, like I said, I've been around the world, many different cities, many different countries, and I never felt like, oh, I'm at home, except in Russia.
Thank you. Thank you for this interview.
Thank you.